Hello, my name is John. Welcome to Munro Live. Munro is an engineering consulting firm. We're based out of Auburn Hills, Michigan. We utilize a design-first approach with our clients' products, and when we do that, we drive out costs or drive down costs, and we improve the quality and the reliability of the product. Today, we are here to talk about this Jackery unit here in front of us, guys. And to my right here, I have a colleague, and also to the left. And if you'd introduce yourself, please, Mike.
Thank you,
we'll
John.
go from there to Pat.
Yep. So my name is Mike Haston. I am a lead electrical engineer here at Munro Associates.
I'm Patrick Hurley. I'm a lead engineer here at Munro Associates as well. And before us here, we have the Jackery solar generator. This is a 288 watt hour, 300 watt solar battery, or a solar generator with a battery in it. This is something that you can use to charge, say, your laptop or a cell phone, some lights when you go camping. It's portable, comes in under 7 pounds. It has a variety of different features here. There's an optional solar panel that you can attach to this to charge when you're on the go, or you can plug it in at home out of something that's an AC, such as a wall socket. You can charge it in your vehicle through this 12-volt plug that comes inside the unit itself. Again, it's small in size. It weighs about 7 pounds. Very, very durable. It's made out of PCABS, so it can be kicked around inside the back of your vehicle, out on a campsite. It could be packed in a backpack. It could be taken with you. It's quite small. It has many options to it, like I say. One of them being the fact that it's so small that you could pretty much pack it up in your suitcase and take it with you. So has a lot of uses that you can do with it. It is very rigid, very resilient. You could set this on top of something. You can actually set it under something. You can embed it in something, like put it inside of a container in your vehicle, put it inside a suitcase that's inside your vehicle. There's different things that you can do with this particular unit, with it being so small.
The one comment I would say is as an electrical engineer, I hate the name solar generator. It's not really solar, it's not a generator. But it can be charged by a solar panel, so that's why they have solar.
Yep.
And it's really a storage device. So how this works basically is we have a battery that stores all the energy that you're going to use. This battery will then has on it a BMS controller that basically monitors and protects the battery and helps load balance the cells, which will go then to what's on this unit, a control board. This control board will then help control that BMS, then go to what they call the inverter. And the inverter takes basically the DC power that's coming from the battery, converts it to AC, so we can power the plugs that you can plug your unit into. And so that's really how it works. It's basically a battery storage with inverter attached, and we call it a solar generator. I just don't like the name.
Yeah, I think that's a misleading portion of the unit. Get rid of solar generator and call it what it is.
But to be fair, it's not Jackery, it's called solar generator. That is the name of all of them. They call them solar generators.
Solar generators.
I'm just not. And so it is a pretty elegant design electrically. It's compact. They did a really good job at putting all these components in a small area. The one thing I might like to see better is better wire management. They are just kind of hanging here. There's not really no way of protecting it, but it's such a small unit, it's not that big of a deal. But the controller board is laid out well. The inverter is pretty well protected. It has a fan to keep it cooled. This is probably the most, the board creates the most heat. So it has to have a good cooling, good heat sink to do that.
Could you emphasize the fan, please?
Yeah, so the fan is required because you got to blow air across the heat sinks, right? And these components down here generate a lot of heat, causes it to heat up. And the more you can reduce that heat, the more you can spread air across it, the more efficient this will become.
And those heat sinks are extruded aluminum, right?
Yeah, I would assume they are.
So they're fairly inexpensive to manufacture. But like you say, they do move a lot of heat away from that circuit board.
It gets heat there, but the fan helps because it's blowing. This fan is actually blowing across this board, and trying to get that heat away from that heat sink as well.
Yeah.
So it is, but I think it's a pretty elegant design. It's pretty compact. They laid out the electronics pretty well. Like I said, my one criticism is kind of the wire management might be a little better on here and in the batteries. But other than that, I think it's not that bad of a design.
So the the air pulls in, or the fan pulls in the air from the vent on one side
Yep.
and exits out the
Yeah,
other side
you
through
can see
these
the vents.
vents on the table.
Yep, exactly.
I think also the fan not only cools the circuit board, but also it forces air into the battery pack itself. And if you zoom in on this particular battery pack, again, I want to emphasize to the audience, this is only a partial teardown. This is not a complete, total 100% teardown of this particular unit. But this battery is what they call a 4S 8P configuration. So you have 4 cells, or 4 groups in series and 8 groups in parallel. All that put together gives you 14.4 volts and 293 watt hours of energy. This is a nice little package. The chemistry here is an NMC. This is a nickel manganese cobalt, and it's a 18650 battery cells. There's 32 of these. And the 18650 just simply means the diameter of this cell. Each one of these cells is 18 millimeters, and the overall length is 65 millimeters. The 0 in the 18650 designates that it is a cylindrical cell, hence the 0, which really indicates it's a round cell.
Is there a better option they could do for a battery besides that chemistry? Or not?
For better cycle life, they could go with LFP, lithium iron phosphate. I believe these do.
They do.
have.
The larger versions of it do come with different battery
which
chemistry.
makes sense. Yeah.
And they have longer life.
Okay. Yeah, longer life is probably something that's desired, especially when you're out there in the woods away from civilization using this unit. Now, this unit passive balances, and if you could explain to the audience how this works with what we see here.
Sure. Well, that's what the BMS controls, right? So there is control in this BMS that actually actively makes sure that each cell maintains the same level of charge. And if you have one cell that's higher than the other, it's not necessarily very good life for the batteries.
Yeah.
So this BMS will monitor those cells to make sure that they're all balanced the same way, and also add some protection if there's any kind of shortage or high voltage demand that will cut that battery so it doesn't degrade it. One thing I will say is this would not handle like a compressor. If you plug a compressor or any kind of power tool, you don't have enough power, and it would probably cut the battery off.
I have this at home, this very specific, this very exact Jackery. I've used it hundreds and hundreds of times, and you can hook a car compressor, like an air compressor, to charge your tires up.
The little guy?
The little guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does fill the tires, obviously.
Yeah.
I have heard that you can attach this to a very small refrigerator. Now, it wouldn't be the refrigerator that you store food in. It's going to be more like your camping refrigerator, where it looks like a cooler. It's going to keep your food cool for a long duration of time.
Yeah.
I have actually tried that with this. It does a really decent job. Like we'll go hiking and we'll leave the cooler in the car with a couple cold ones in it and some food and such. And I've got it connected to the Jackery and come back and everything's cold.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, what's going to hit it and those components is anything that has a very spike and startup spike. That's what's going to kill it. So it's that quick energy to get something moving, like a compressor or whatever. This wouldn't be able to handle it unless you have somehow smooth that out. But
Well, one thing we didn't mention is this is a pure sine wave, correct?
yes,
Yes.
sine
Okay.
wave.
Yeah.
Which is good because a lot of things it doesn't handle well. Computers,
Yeah.
you need a pure sine wave.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Can you show what's in the bag here, Pat?
Sure. So in this bag here, this is where they keep their charging unit. So there is a charger cord here, and then there is a connector for the 12 volt. So this is plug into the wall. This is plug into your vehicle, or another 12 volt plug in. And then there is on the front of the unit here a plug in for your solar panel. And that's the input for the solar panel as well. This plug here, the plug into the wall, does fit in this port to charge from. So this port does dual function. It's both solar in as well as AC in, and then this one.
Technically it's not AC in, it's still DC.
Oh, AC,
so
DC,
it's the same input. So solar
You're
is
right.
DC.
Yep.
All this does is make sure it monitors
You're right.
what the DC is. So your solar can go fluctuate a little bit.
Yep.
This will control it. It doesn't matter if it's there or not. So it's really the same input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we took this thing apart initially, again, this is a partial teardown, it was held together with a series of screws around the perimeter, and then these orange foot pads. There's screw locations here, so we had to remove the foot pads to expose the screws to extract the screws. And I think one thing that was really neat about this particular design is after we removed all of the screws, it was still held together pretty tightly by virtue of these orange plastic vent parts on either side. And it wasn't until we actually pried off the orange panels or parts off both sides could you actually
Pull it
apart. I think that's pretty neat.
I'll be honest with you, I've dropped this, I can't even tell you how many times, and I've never broken it.
Yeah, it's durable.
It's super durable. This PC ABS that they use is rock hard, and mine, it's almost time to buy a new one because it's looking pretty shabby, but
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. I like the looks of it being kind of beat up. It looks like it's doing its job.
Sure.
I also believe the battery does have 2 temperature sensors on it, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And probably one, yeah, so these sensors, these are basically temperature sensors monitoring the temperature of the battery. I'm not positive. I think one's probably high temp and low temp to cut off what they are. We'd have to test them out to see. But that's common for the battery packs, although some of the cheaper ones I've seen don't include temperature sensors or only have a low temperature sensor.
Yeah, and all that feeds up into the BMS.
Yep.
So, BMS is it's monitoring the temperature, it's monitoring the voltage, it's monitoring short circuit.
Actually, I think in this one, based on the circuit board, this is a very simple BMS. So it looks like it's only line voltage and protection. The sensors actually are plugged into the board, and I think it's actually taking some of the functionality of that sensoring here and then controlling that board here. Again, we'd have to actually do a full testing of it, but the way it's connected, it looks like it's a pretty simple, which is a good design because it makes it small, makes it simple, and you can integrate it more into a smaller box.
And because this is a partial teardown, we literally could put this back together and it would function 100% as it would have straight from the box, brand new.
Yeah.
But if we went through a complete 100% teardown, and we would not be able to put it back together.
No,
and that's basically what Munro does. Is if we needed to or wanted to, we could put this into our design profit software after we do benchmarking or tear down in this case, and then from there that would give us the cost of all the components, the should cost of all the components.
Just to add to that, also with the circuit boards, we would take the circuit boards off. We would actually cost out each component on this board, figure out the number of layers this board is, and do a bill of material build-up of what every one of these components are.
Correct.
And how it's laid out, and you get a completed bill of material cost for all the PCBs that are in this board.
Yeah.
And we would do the same thing for the case, the plastic case. We would be able to tell you exactly what it is, and like I said earlier in the video, and this is PC ABS, but we would go through each one of the plastic components that hold this together, and we would cost those out from a material standpoint, and tell you what size press you're in and how long you're going to mold it for and such. There are inserts here for screws. We would go through that in the report as well. So,
and then basically what this all means is it feeds into a data set for the entire package that we can look at and analyze for ideation. That's where we gather a bunch of our engineering associates, and we are seasoned professionals, and then we actually brainstorm, and we log these ideas, and then we down select the best ones, and from there that's where the actual costing solutions, product design optimizations, and the manufacturing optimizations happen in a nutshell. So if we look at basically at a high level, guys, what might be improved upon, just a couple of things if you see something stands right out.
Yeah, again, we keep touching on solar generator. I think I would change the name from solar generator to something else.
Yeah, except for that's a standard they're using for not just Jackery.
Yeah,
so
is,
you're not going to change the name. But
granted, Jackery uses the orange color as a a way to identify Jackery.
It stands out.
It stands out in a crowd. I personally wouldn't mind seeing it in a green or a yellow or a blue, something a little bit more custom.
Different color combinations.
The pink for the wife in the house. Who knows?
Although to be fair, I mean, we don't want to. If we were Jackery, we wouldn't want to take away their branding. Right?
That's true.
So there is some branding involved that
There
we
is.
have to. And it's something we do.
It can still come in an orange box.
You could, but I mean, our clients, we know their needs. We have to make sure that we meet what they need, their quality, their branding is all part of our costing. So we may have these ideas to do this, but we don't want to also change what the company's standing for. Right?
So again, this is an example right here of this mini debate. is part of the ideation process. Is we list everything and we capture everything. And then we discuss everything, and then we down select. And part of that down select process is, well, hey, we got to stay with orange. We can't offer
that down select is not
different
us.
colors.
We would involve our client. So if
Yes.
Jackery was our client, they would be involved in that down selecting, and they would help us understand which ones make sense. So
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And essentially, the client is with us almost every step of the way. So it works out nicely.
I looking at the case here, there is room here, perhaps maybe putting a light in the front of the case.
Okay.
But other than that, make this backlit. Maybe go to a digital in this model. I know some of the other models, they're digital rather than this backlit LCD. Again, this is a budget case.
Sure.
Very small, very portable. It's sort of like one of those introductory things that gets you into the market. You're not quite sure about purchasing a portable battery unit.
Yeah.
For a couple $100, you get into the Jackery 300 and you get hooked. I'm hooked. My family's hooked. It's definitely fun to have around, and being able to, charge something on the go. It's been a win-win since we bought it.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice looking package. I personally like orange and black. That's my theme at home with the tools that I have, orange and black across the board. But is there anything else you guys would like to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think so. I think I discussed the wiring management. But my really only thing I see right away that I would possibly change, I think it's a good package. If we were talking about maybe some idea generations, and this is not necessarily, I would say, to go with it, but we do have two outputs for their voltage. Do we really need two? We go to the one.
Yeah.
We have a couple of USB ports that we maybe go USB-C. Maybe in the future, a lot of things are going USB-C only. So do we change that? But these are all discussions that we'd have with our client to see if it makes sense for them. There is some convenience here that I would not want to get rid of, but it would be an idea to possibly something in the future, especially when USB-C becomes more widely acceptable.
Prevalent,
Right?
yes.
Yeah. So that's really all I have to add.
So, Patrick, do you actually use both of these
So I do.
receptacles at the same
Yeah.
time?
I put my phone in one side, my wife puts hers in. I use it for a small light.
Okay.
I have another battery pack that I actually charge off of this as well.
Sure.
It's portable, it goes on the back of my cell phone. So we do use both of them. I think the two of them are there for a reason. They're not, to your point, Mike, having one might be the ticket, but having two is,
it's convenience, right?
It's convenience, exactly.
And there's a price for convenience, or there's price advantage for convenience, right?
Absolutely.
If I offer one, I may not accept it. The other thing I'm looking at just now is the 12 volt output.
Yeah.
You could eliminate that, possibly give an adapter that you could plug in to the USB or something.
Yeah.
Again, it's the feature request, right? Do I keep this in here for feature? It is an advantage to sell it, and so there's some money or there's some cost advantages to offer that feature.
I would wonder if this 12 volt, you could use this to put a cigarette lighter in there.
I think that's just a. I think it's just a power.
Just the power,
Yeah.
So I haven't used the 12 volt that much, with the exception of plugging it into my vehicle to charge it on the go. But maybe get rid of that, like you said. But
Again, that's something that our clients would have to help with discuss, and there are advantages, disadvantages to those decisions, right? So we always have to look at all of that.
At all of it.
It's not always just about cost. So
Well, if I had this just for home purposes, not for camping purposes, I would never use this. If the power went out in the house and I relied on this to power up.
I think to be fair, if
certain
you're going to do a home version, you probably go a bigger one anyways, because you have bigger appliances.
That's true.
Which may not have 12. I don't know.
This would be good for the phones and
You'd
stuff
be
like
more
that.
apt to buy a 1500 watt or greater for home. This is for on the go, like say, you're literally going to have this sitting on the counter, you're going to charging it up,
Yeah.
or you're going to have your solar panel outside charging it,
Yeah.
and it's a grab and go as you need it.
Sure.
I will say the solar panel is an option, right? to
It
this.
is an option.
Yeah, so
It's a couple $100 option.
You don't get that. You have to buy that as separate.
It's a
correct.
separate panel. I forget what the input output is on it, but I do know it's about 3.5 foot by 2 foot. It's a triple panel, so it folds out on itself. Its claim to fame is its quick charge, but I don't know the actual technology behind the cells.
Yeah, it's probably not. I mean, they're a standard solar. I don't think there's anything special about them.
Yeah,
You could probably technically use any solar and mop up a connector to put in there, but yeah. But anyways,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. So we've done a review of the Jackery 300 unit. Good conversation. You can see how the ideas develop and turn into different ideas. Some ideas don't make it, some ideas do make it.
Some are bad ideas, some are good ideas.
Yeah, so that's all part of the process with cost reduction while we at the same time improve quality and reliability of the product. So, hey, thank you for viewing this particular episode of Munro Live. We enjoy to read your comments, so keep them coming. We learn from them. And if you want our services, please go to our website, which is www.leandesign.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.